Hello. I've always wanted to say this, live from Lincoln Center. Yes, I am super excited this Monday evening. I've been out and about doing some work, and I'm super excited to have our next, hey author Aliya, thank you for joining. I'm super excited to have our next author for this month, for Get Caught Reading Month, join us. So Aliya, I'm going to invite you to join. Let's see here. I just sent you an invite. Also going to just share this.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Oh, good. Yes.
I'm glad I
See
made
how
it.
easy that was?
It was super easy. I was so nervous. I was like, I've never done this before. I've always recorded myself. I've never done
Oh,
the
I'm
live
so
thing.
excited.
So this is
Yes.
fun.
This is good for you. Yes, I'm excited too. So how's your day been?
Good. Can't complain.
So
It's a beautiful day.
I
Where are
am in
you guys?
Brooklyn, but well, that's where like I live, but I've
Okay.
been out and about working on a
Okay.
project. And so I'm in Lincoln Center. So I can say live from
Oh,
Lincoln
okay
Center.
then.
Hey Casey.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's
So it
it's
must be
gorgeous.
nice.
Here
Yeah.
we are. Look at this
Good.
park.
I know, that's nice. Yeah, we're in Maryland,
Oh,
and it was a
good.
beautiful day
Good.
today.
What part of
So it was
Maryland are
great.
you in?
Yeah. Hyattsville, so right outside of the
Okay,
DC line. We're
cool.
super close
Yes,
to DC.
yes.
Yeah.
It's really easy
Yeah.
to go from like DC, Maryland. Yeah, depending on where you are in Maryland.
Yeah,
All right. So yes,
exactly.
thank you for joining. I have here, I invited some people
Okay.
to join us. If you wanted to send any invites, you can do
Yeah.
that, and then we can start. I have like a little
Sure.
bio that I'm gonna read
Sure.
before we get into it.
Great.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
And I just share with a few more people.
Mm.
Let's see here.
A few more people I can have too. There we go. Okay.
Oh, yep. Let me invite her. She's a mom. Like, oh, let's see. Let's get the moms in here.
Yeah, get some moms in there.
All right, I'm gonna send those all out.
Okay.
And we'll see how it goes. But yes.
Okay. There we go.
Awesome.
I sent a few
happy
out
Monday. Thank you again. So I am, for those of you who are going to be watching the replay or going to be jumping on soon, I am chatting with Aliya Yancey, right? I'm saying that right? Okay, awesome.
Yep, you're saying it right.
So let me just, hey, Bernadette. I thought as a mom you might be interested in a children's book author. So yes, welcome. So let's introduce her. So Aliya Yancey is an author, mom, and early childhood educator who loves encouraging children to ask questions and stay curious. So important.
Yeah.
And let's see, the wind's blowing here a little. As a pre-K teacher for over 15 years, she decided to combine her love of reading with her experience as an educator to become a children's book author. Hey, Wilner, thanks for joining. Yes. Children's book author writing stories that focus on building young children's early literacy skills. Aliya hopes to inspire young children to ask questions and provide their caretakers with the tools and the language to do so, which I just love because parents sometimes want to help their children and they just don't know how to best do it.
Yeah, I say that all the time, you know, parents are like, well, they won't sit still for a story, right? And I'm like, well, they don't have to. Like, that's okay. Like, it's okay for them to ask questions. It's okay for them to move around. It's okay for, kids don't have to just sit while you read to them. Reading, especially in early childhood, is interactive. So I want, I'm a mom as well of a 5-year-old who asks me tons of questions. And every time he asks me questions, I'm like, okay, Aliya, you did write the book about questions, didn't you? You can't be too mad. You wrote a book about questions, so you have to, let them ask. But it's so important for them to be able to ask questions, and for parents to be able to share, what they know and what they don't.
I was reading this book, and it was talking about just simply like even pre-literacy skills, like the child is just like pointing and like babbling, and like the parent has to answer. Like the child knows when the parent is like doing the BS thing. Because I guess there was a study done that if like a child pointed at a phone and the parent was like, that's a pig, like the child just stops, because like the child will actually know that the parent doesn't know.
Doesn't know. Yeah. And parents even ask like how early. I'm like, start as early as you want. Like, it could just be vocabulary, just labeling. Oh, I see a tree. I see every book is for, honestly, any age. You can make it and adjust it to any age group. Yes. So
have the parents that you've been working with or who have bought your book, do they have like really good testimonials about it? Do their kids now ask them 1,000 questions?
Yeah. And of course they're like, thanks. I've actually found a lot of parents who have been using it as an intervention tool because maybe their child is receiving like speech and language therapy, and they're like, oh, it's so great to see this book. We're working on who questions for as part of their services. So a lot of parents have been using it as a tool for that, like for maybe their speech pathologist or specialist is telling them, here are some questions they need to work on. And I've had quite a few parents say, oh my goodness, this is what we're working on at home, if their child has a speech delay. And so that's been great. That's been great to see that it's been used as an intervention
now that you
tool.
mention it, I had, at one point, I used to teach, right? I taught for 20 years. I taught ESL. And at one point I was sharing a room with a speech teacher, and I would hear her doing just what you're talking about. Only they were with older students, but they were still like working on questions. Yeah.
So it's a great tool. I love it. It's always fun to read. Cool. They're both fun to read.
So yes, before we get into your story, Make It Fun says hello and amazing. Wilner said, hey ladies, and that he loves it. I think it was when we were first starting to talk about the family literacy. Yes. And so yes, did you want to read a portion of your book, your whole book? How did you want to do it?
I can give a little snippet since I'm usually it's hard when I need kids. I need that back and forth. but I can give a little snippet of both. Let me just get this out of the way so I can there we go. So I'll do a little bit of both. So, and sorry, I'm right by a major street, so
it's okay. I'm in the middle of the park. So.
Yeah. So the first book I wrote was Zion's Super Question Day, Why? So each book, right now I have 2, but eventually I'll have the entire Who, What, When, Where, Why series. So Zion's Super Question Day, Why? And then Issa's Super Question Day, Who? So each book saturates you with all who questions. This one saturates you with why questions. So I can also show, because I mentioned it has tools for caregivers as well. And each book has a how-to guide, right? So like how to use this book. And I can read the first portion of it. So it says, this is book 1 in the Super Questions series, which focuses on young children's understanding of WH questions. WH questions are essential to children's ability to comprehend stories, expand vocabulary, develop speech and language, and so much more. And then it has WH questions and how they're typically used. You know, like there's, of course, you can get into the nitty gritty, but with pre-K students, it's like, okay, if I'm asking a who question, we're talking about people, right? What, we're talking about things, when, time, where, places, why, a reason, or an explanation. And then at the bottom, it says, as you read, place an emphasis on the targeted WH question, encourage the child to ask and answer questions throughout the story, and have fun. So this book and the other book has that kind of introduction as well, to kind of help parents as that.
That's a great idea.
And so, yeah. So I can read the first few pages of Zion, and then I'll read Issa afterwards. It says, hi, my name is Zion. I love superheroes, playing outside, and asking a lot of questions. My mommy always says, Zion, you are so inquisitive. That means I want to know about a lot of things. Every morning at breakfast, I get to pick from my question jar. It's filled with all types of question words. Mommy says they're called WH questions, but I call them my super questions. So this is where the super questions comes in. And he asks different questions throughout the day. It starts at home, and then there's like little funny questions like, why do we have to eat breakfast? Why is the sky blue? Why are boogers green? My son, who was the inspiration for the illustration, is really into like boogers and ooh.
It's a
like
great question. I kind of semi
so,
can answer it, but I have to like be like, okay, let's go learn this together, kid.
Because I don't know. And then he goes to school, asking questions throughout the day to his friends. And we really wanted to place the emphasis on like how you respond as well. So for example, he says, why do you only like pizza? And his friend says, because I love cheese. So it's like when you ask why, you usually respond with because, to give the reason for your answer. And then the one that gets the most attention, so at the end, some bedtime story, he sleeps and he dreams about more questions to ask. And it's, why do we have to wear clothes? What do superheroes eat? Where do bees poop? The bees poop is like the, oh my God.
Where
Kids
do they
love
poop?
that part. Like any.
Do they?
Do they? I don't know. Do they? Which, you know, so. So that always, a friend of mine, her kids called this book where's the bee poop book? Where's the bee poop book? Because
I feel like those are the type of questions that get kids really curious, and I think make them actually want to learn. Because then when they actually have a question that they're really interested in, then they'll go find the answer anyway. Yeah.
Exactly.
And then
ask more questions. Yeah. And then this one is fun because this is about a little girl preparing for her birthday party. So this is Issa, and I wanted this one to be more just like everyday life, right? Like, so the first one was school, and then it's like, what do kids love? They love birthday parties. So throughout the story, her family, her community is helping prepare for the birthday party. So that teaches, just love and compassion and all of that. They're all surrounded to give this girl love on her birthday party. So I'll read a few pages. This is Issa. She loves unicorns, building with blocks, and riding her scooter. She's very excited because today is her birthday. She's turning 5 years old, and so many people are helping respond with a name. She'll be able to address the thank you cards to the right person.
Yeah.
right? So like giving the reason, the purpose behind like
Yeah.
asking those questions, right? We ask to gain information. So it's a fun one. Kids love it because it's talking about food and
Cupcakes.
cupcakes and, you know, decorations
Can we see the
and
cupcakes, please? I love cupcakes.
unicorns. Oh yeah.
Show us
Yeah.
the cupcakes.
So, here you
What
go.
flavor are the cupcakes? Who bakes them? Wait, let me stick to the topic. Who bakes
You know,
the cupcakes?
whoever, yeah. It says, who made these awesome cupcakes? Our favorite baker, Miss Tiana. They can be whatever flavor you like. But like the dad setting it up, right? And yeah, all these people gather to help prepare for the party. And then at the end, she thinks about who she should write a thank you card for first. So it's really
Practical though,
one as
to
well.
be honest. And also without even meaning to, I mean, you may have meant to, but without it like being blatant, it teaches etiquette. Because then the child and the parent may not even be thinking, you know, okay, so my daughter just had this birthday party, and then the thank you note is never written because no one's thinking about it. But then they read the book and they're like, oh wait,
like gratitude, right? Like being grateful for, you know, that, and showing gratitude. And, you know, your birthday party doesn't come from anywhere. Like people are helping to, you know, plan, and it's, you know, it's a backyard birthday, right? It's not some elaborate thing, but it's like, oh, who baked the cupcakes, who got the decorations together, who did all this stuff, right? It's definitely a lot of social emotional stuff snuck in there as well.
I think it seems like it's really layered, like really rich, and the colors and everything for your illustrations.
Oh yeah, I have to shout out the illustrators. So they have two separate illustrators, Dita and Mel, who's amazing. I should have put their Instagram handles on here, but if you follow me on Instagram, my illustrators, follow them so you can easily find them because they're amazing. Both are moms. They're great. So I had amazing illustrators.
I did. I like seeing the photos or the photos. Wow, I'm a photographer. I like seeing the illustrations and pictures for both of them. It was really nice. So yes. Sierra says such an important lesson for childhood. Yes, I love it. It really is. Like you're teaching so many different lessons in one. And then I feel like if the children like the pictures, right? I remember as a child, the books I liked the pictures, I would go back through and look at them myself, even if I couldn't read them.
Yeah, because even if you can't read, and that's why, you know, I'll just keep repeating, like every book is for whatever age you want it. You can adjust it to whatever age, right? So people say, well, what age group? I was like, well, you know, I mean, 0, because you could just go through. We're labeling now to get the actual like lesson, right? Like, oh, that, like maybe a little bit older, but for the most part, like we're working on vocabulary. We're working on labeling things, and maybe you're not able to verbally answer, but you can point, right? Like, oh, wait, where's the mom? Where's the cupcake? And you can point. Oh, you're showing me the mom is on the bed, right? Because also what we found too is that I think this is effects of like COVID and quarantine, like kids language development is a lot of children are struggling with that, and the best way to do it is through play and through reading books. So that's, this idea was before COVID, but I felt like it came at the right time for me and for what kids need. You know,
and the nice thing is, even though it's in English, I don't know if you have anything translated, but like a parent who speaks any language, you could also, because it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't even matter what language you do it in. It's like the actual, I used to teach ESL. So as long as you're literate in your first language, your literacy skill will transfer automatically.
Yeah, the goal is to get
the
it
actual
translated.
skill, the language word to word, right, may not.
Yes.
even the alphabet
Yeah.
could be different,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
Arabic versus English is a different,
Mhm.
but if you actually have like literacy, like the skill
Mhm.
transfers. Yeah. So I
Mhm.
love it. I love it.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, I appreciate
Oh, you're
you reaching
welcome.
out too.
Yeah.
Great. We love it.
The
Yeah.
author who I have next week, Kim Lee, she referred me to you.
Yeah.
I was like, I need one more author. Do you know any author?
Yeah, it's great. That's I appreciate it. We're such a small but mighty network. So whenever we like find opportunities, we're like, oh yeah, no, this person would be great for it, or so we definitely try to support
I
each
love
other
that.
as
That's the whole
well.
thing. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Mm-hmm.
So before
Mm-hmm.
we end this up, where
Mm-hmm.
can people purchase your books?
Mm-hmm. Yes, so it's available on Amazon, but also on my website. So you can follow me at author Aliya, and then the link is in my bio. And you can click on that link, and it'll take you to my author website. So I would prefer my author website over Amazon. That's always the
What is the name of your website?
goal,
Just say it out loud so everyone can hear it.
It's a tiny the easiest way is tiny.url/AY books. So tiny URL. Sorry, I need to get better at that. .com/. But like I said, if you go to my Instagram page, it's LinkedIn on there.
So wait, tiny.url/AX or AY.com.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me.
I want to
get
it right. Let's get it right for the people. Hold on. Let's get it right
Let
for
me
the
get
parents.
It right.
These books are too cool.
Okay. tinyurl.com/AY books.
AY books. Okay. Got it.
Books. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
There we go.
So tiny.url.com/AY books. Yes.
Yep.
There's a child I hear right now behind me.
I know.
They're late for story time, but that's all right.
It's okay.
Okay. Well, let's see if we have. I don't see any other comments in the comments section, but this was fun. It was really a delight. Yes.
This was fun. Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
We got one more week. So next week is our final author. So we'll be back next week. Then the weekend after that is Memorial Day weekend. Yeah. I'm not trying to compete with that.
Yeah, we're not doing that. You're not trying to do that.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, thank you
so much. Thank you. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.